The space station's warning lights cast an eerie red glow across Tom Miller's weathered face as he stared at the holographic display. Earth's orbital defense network had gone dark, and the alien fleet was approaching faster than anyone had anticipated. As the station's head of security, he knew they were woefully unprepared for what was coming. "Sir," called out Bill, his young assistant, "you need to see this." The boy's hands trembled as he pulled up another hologram, this one showing hundreds of small, unidentified objects appearing seemingly out of nowhere, moving at impossible speeds through the void of space. Tom squinted at the readings. The objects weren't following any known laws of physics. They weren't using conventional propulsion, and their energy signatures were unlike anything in their database. But what truly caught his attention was their flight pattern. They were moving in perfect formation, like a team of reindeer pulling a sleigh. "Get me a visual," Tom ordered, his heart pounding. The main screen flickered to life, and what he saw made him question everything he knew about reality. There, amidst the stars, was what appeared to be an enormous red sleigh, surrounded by a shimmering force field that seemed to bend light itself. A deep, warm chuckle echoed through the station's communication system. "Ho ho ho. Sorry I'm late, children of Earth. Traffic was terrible in the Andromeda galaxy." Tom and his crew stood frozen, mouths agape, as the impossible vehicle drew closer. The being piloting it wore a red suit that seemed to be made of advanced nanomaterials, his white beard glowing with an otherworldly light. "But Santa isn't real," Bill whispered, voicing what everyone was thinking. The figure's response came through crystal clear, "Oh, I wasn't. Not until humanity needed a miracle. And now, thanks to the power of belief across countless worlds, I'm as real as the stars themselves. And I bring gifts, weapons of wonder and shields of joy, powered by the very essence of hope itself." As the alien fleet approached Earth, they had no idea they were about to face something far more powerful than mere technology. They were about to face magic made real by the combined belief of billions of children across the galaxy. And this was just the beginning of humanity's strangest, most wonderful war. The massive red sleigh docked with the space station, its force field shimmering like the northern lights. As the airlock cycled, Tom and his security team stood ready, still unsure whether to treat this as a first contact situation or a holiday miracle. The door slid open with a hiss of pine-scented air. Santa stepped through, but this wasn't the jolly mall Santa from Earth's memories. This Santa wore armor that looked like it was made of crystallized Christmas lights, and his legendary bag was now a high-tech quantum storage device that hummed with power. "First things first," Santa said, pulling out what looked like a candy cane-striped tablet. "We need to upgrade your defenses. My elves have been quite busy this year." He winked, and suddenly the tablet projected a hologram of the entire station. "Elves?" Bill asked, his security training warring with childlike wonder. "Oh yes," Santa chuckled. "Though they're not quite what your stories suggest. They're quantum engineers now, specialists in what you might call miracle technology. We've learned to harness the power of belief itself." As if on cue, small figures in green nanosuits began appearing throughout the station. They moved with incredible speed, installing devices that looked like Christmas ornaments at key defensive points. Each ornament glowed with an inner light that seemed to bend reality around it. "But how is this possible?" Tom asked, watching as one of the devices transformed a regular defense turret into something that looked like it was made of solidified starlight. Santa's eyes twinkled. When the aliens began their conquest across the galaxy, they didn't just destroy worlds, they destroyed hope. But they didn't understand that hope, belief, and joy are more than just feelings. They're fundamental forces of the universe, just as real as gravity or electromagnetism. My workshop at the North Pole? It became a nexus point for that power, drawing strength from every child who ever believed in the magic of giving. The station's alarms suddenly blared. The alien fleet had entered the solar system, their ships black as coal against the starfield. Perfect timing, Santa said, his jolly demeanor shifting to something more tactical. Time to show them what happens when they try to steal Christmas from the galaxy. He raised his hand, and every upgraded weapon on the station hummed to life. The ornament-like devices began spinning, creating a shield that looked like falling snow but deflected energy weapons like they were nothing. You see, Santa continued, they thought they could break worlds by destroying their hope. Instead, they helped create something they never expected, they made belief real. And now? He pulled out what looked like a traditional sleigh bell, but it glowed with the power of a small sun. Now we're going to teach them the true meaning of Christmas. Tom watched in awe as the station's new defenses powered up, turning what was once a vulnerable outpost into a fortress of light and wonder. Something told him that the coming battle would be unlike anything in human history, a war where humanity's oldest stories of hope and magic would prove to be their strongest weapons. And as the alien fleet drew closer, Santa's smile grew wider. Because he knew something they didn't, belief was about to become their worst nightmare. The alien fleet emerged from hyperspace like a swarm of angry wasps, their ships gleaming with dark metal that seemed to absorb light itself. The lead vessel, massive and shaped like a twisted crown, broadcasted a message that echoed through every speaker on the station. Surrender your world and accept the darkness. Hope is a lie. Joy is weakness. Resistance is. The message cut off abruptly as Santa pressed a button on his candy cane tablet. Sorry, but they've been on my naughty list for quite some time now. He turned to Tom and Bill, his expression serious despite his rosy cheeks. Ready to see what Christmas magic can really do? Before anyone could respond, the first alien shots streaked toward the station. But instead of impacting, they hit the snow shield and transformed into beautiful streams of colorful lights, like an aurora borealis. That's impossible, Bill gasped, checking the readings. They're firing dark matter weapons. Nothing should be able to stop those. Santa laughed, the sound somehow both jolly and fierce. Nothing scientific, perhaps. But we're not using science anymore. We're using something far more powerful, the accumulated belief of countless children across thousands of worlds. He pulled out his sleigh bell and rang it once. The sound rippled through space itself, and suddenly every weapon the elves had installed burst into action. Beams of pure golden light, like concentrated Christmas morning joy, lanced out from the station's turrets. Where they struck the alien ships, something extraordinary happened. The dark metal began to crack, light pouring from within. Some of the smaller ships started transforming, their cruel angles softening into curves that looked almost festive. What's happening to them? Tom asked, unable to look away from the spectacular light show. The same thing that happened to me, Santa explained, directing his elves to maintain the defensive grid. Belief is reshaping reality around them. Their weapons run on despair and darkness, the opposite of everything Christmas represents. When the two forces meet. He gestured to where another alien ship was turning into what looked like a giant ornament. But the alien fleet was vast, and they weren't giving up easily. Their flagship launched what looked like shadows given physical form, tendrils of pure darkness reaching for the station. Now this won't do at all, Santa muttered. He reached into his quantum sack and pulled out a string of what appeared to be ordinary Christmas lights. With a practiced flick of his wrist, he launched them into space. The lights expanded impossibly, forming a net of pure radiance that caught the shadow tendrils. Where they touched, the darkness sizzled and transformed into twinkling stars. You see, Santa continued, watching the battle unfold, these aliens thought they could conquer the galaxy by stealing hope. But they never understood that hope, joy, wonder, these things can't be destroyed. They can only be transformed. And now we're using their own strategy against them. The station shuddered as the alien flagship launched its main weapon, a beam of concentrated anti-belief that threatened to tear reality itself apart. But Santa just smiled and reached for his sleigh bell again. Time to show them what happens when you try to cancel Christmas. The bell rang out across the void, and this time, its sound carried the weight of every Christmas morning, every moment of wonder, every spark of hope that had ever existed. The battle was about to take a turn that would change the galaxy forever. The bell's ring echoed through space, and for a moment, everything stood still. The alien flagship's anti-belief beam hung frozen between the ships like a river of darkness. Then something incredible happened. Tiny points of light began appearing within the dark beam itself. They looked like Christmas tree lights at first, but Tom quickly realized they were memories, millions of them, each one a moment of pure belief shining through the darkness. What you're seeing, Santa explained, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, are the memories these aliens tried to erase. Every child's first Christmas morning. Every act of kindness. Every moment someone chose hope over despair. The memories multiplied, spreading through the dark beam like a beautiful infection. The alien flagship's weapon began to sputter and crack, light pouring through the breaks in its darkness. Now! Santa commanded into his candy cane communicator. Release Operation Stockings. The elves responded instantly. Hundreds of what looked like red Christmas stockings shot out from hidden launchers around the station. As they flew through space, they unfolded into sleek fighter craft, each one trailing streams of silver and gold tinsel that cut through the alien fleet's formations. Bill watched the tactical display in amazement. The stockings are winning? Of course they are, Santa chuckled. They're powered by the oldest Christmas magic of all, the excitement of opening presents on Christmas morning. No force in the universe can match that. But the alien commander wasn't finished. Their flagship began to transform, its dark metal flowing like liquid shadow until it formed a massive cannon aimed directly at Earth. If we cannot have this world, the alien voice boomed, we will erase every trace of hope from it. Our void cannon will remove the very concept of belief from your species' minds. Tom gripped his console, fear finally breaking through his wonder. Can they do that? Santa's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, everyone on the station saw why he had become a warrior. They can try. But they've forgotten something very important. He reached into his quantum sack and pulled out what looked like an ordinary snow globe. Christmas isn't just about belief, it's about transformation. He shook the snow globe once, and the space around the station began to change. Stars shifted position, reality rippled, and suddenly they weren't just defending a space station, they were defending the North Pole of the galaxy itself. You see, Santa continued, his voice carrying both joy and power, every child who ever wondered how I deliver presents in one night? They were onto something. Christmas magic doesn't just bend space, it bends possibility itself. The snow globe in his hand began to glow brighter and brighter, and within it, they could see a perfect miniature of the battle taking place. But in this version, the alien fleet was already transformed, their dark ships turned to beautiful constellations that would inspire wonder rather than fear. And now, Santa said, raising the snow globe high, it's time to show them what happens when you threaten not just Christmas, but the very spirit of hope itself. The alien void cannon powered up, its barrel glowing with anti-belief energy that threatened to tear reality apart. But Santa just smiled, because he knew something the aliens didn't: the more they tried to destroy belief, the more real it became. And as both sides prepared to release their ultimate weapons, the fate of not just Earth, but the very concept of hope itself, hung in the balance. The alien void cannon fired, its beam of pure darkness spreading across space like spilled ink. At the same moment, Santa threw his snow globe into the void. As it spun through space, it grew larger and larger until it was the size of a small moon. Everyone hold on to something, Santa commanded. What comes next might be a bit jolly. The snow globe intercepted the dark beam, and for a moment, the entire battle froze in perfect stillness. Then the globe began to spin, faster and faster, creating a swirling vortex of snow and starlight. What's happening? Tom asked, watching as his sensor readings went haywire. A Christmas miracle, Santa replied, his hands flying over his candy cane control panel. Or more specifically, every Christmas miracle at once. The snow globe was now a whirlwind of memories and magic, each snowflake containing a different moment of wonder from across the galaxy. They could see children opening presents, families reuniting, moments of pure joy and belief from 1,000 different worlds. You see, Santa explained as he worked, these aliens tried to use darkness to destroy belief. But they never understood the true power of Christmas. It grows stronger in the darkness. Like stars in the night sky, hope shines brightest when everything else seems dark. The void cannon's beam was being pulled into the snow globe's vortex, but instead of being destroyed, it was being transformed. Each thread of darkness twisted and changed, becoming strings of Christmas lights that stretched across the battlefield. Bill checked his readings and gasped. "Sir, the dark energy, it's not just being stopped. It's being converted into Christmas spirit," Santa finished with a smile. "The most powerful force in the universe. And now, we're going to give these aliens a taste of their own medicine, transformed by the very hope they tried to destroy." The snow globe vortex began to pulse with rainbow colors, each wave of light carrying the accumulated joy of countless Christmas mornings. When it touched the alien ships, they didn't just transform, they awakened. Alien crew members who had never known anything but darkness suddenly found themselves remembering long-forgotten moments of happiness. Ships designed to spread fear began broadcasting songs of joy. The very metal of their vessels started to sparkle with internal light. The alien commander's voice boomed across space again, but this time it was different, confused, almost afraid. What is this feeling?" "That," Santa said firmly, "is the spirit of Christmas. And it's about to teach you the most important lesson of all." He pulled out his sleigh bell one final time, but now it was glowing with the combined power of the transformed void cannon energy and every Christmas miracle it had absorbed. The sound it made wasn't just a ring, it was a symphony of hope itself. The aliens' flagship began to crack, light pouring from every seam. But unlike before, this wasn't destruction, it was rebirth. The massive ship was transforming into something new, something that would spread wonder instead of fear. "You wanted to erase belief from the universe," Santa called out to the alien commander. "Instead, you're about to become part of its greatest expression." As the transformation reached its peak, Tom and Bill watched in awe as the space around them filled with impossible colors and shapes. The final battle for Christmas wasn't being fought with weapons anymore, it was being won with pure, undiluted wonder. And in the heart of it all, Santa stood ready to deliver his final gift to the galaxy, a lesson about the true power of belief that no one would ever forget. The alien flagship's transformation reached its peak in a burst of light that outshone the sun. When the glare faded, what remained took everyone's breath away. The once fearsome vessel had become a crystalline structure that looked like a massive Christmas tree made of living starlight. Inside the space station, the alien commander's voice returned, but it was different now, filled with wonder instead of menace. We remember now. Before the darkness, our people celebrated too. We had our own festivals of light, our own moments of joy. How could we have forgotten?" Santa nodded solemnly. "That's what the darkness does, it makes you forget. But light?" He gestured to the transformed fleet, now glowing with gentle colors. "Light helps you remember." Across the battlefield, the remaining alien ships were changing too. Their crews, touched by the power of pure belief, were experiencing something they hadn't felt in generations: hope. The dark metal of their ships softened and brightened, becoming beautiful vessels that looked like they were crafted from Aurora Borealis. "But what happens now?" Tom asked, watching as the tactical displays showed more and more ships transforming. "Will they just stop fighting?" "Better than that," Santa said, pulling what looked like a small Christmas tree ornament from his bag. "They're going to help us spread the light." You see, this was never about winning a war. It was about healing a wound in the galaxy itself. He held up the ornament, and within its reflective surface, they could see images of alien worlds, planets that had been conquered by darkness, their people forced to forget joy and wonder. But now, as the transformed fleet approached these worlds, something magical was happening. The best thing about Christmas spirit, Santa explained, is that it's contagious. Each person who remembers how to hope becomes a light for others. And now. He smiled as the ornament showed more and more worlds lighting up. Now we have an entire fleet of carriers for that hope. Bill's console lit up with new readings. Sir. The transformed ships, they're not just changing appearance. They're actually generating some kind of positive energy field. It's counteracting the effects of the dark matter weapons across the entire sector. Santa chuckled. Of course they are. Because the greatest gift we can give isn't toys or treats, it's the reminder that light exists, even in the darkest places. The alien commander's ship, now the brightest of all, moved closer to the station. We understand now. For centuries, we spread darkness because we forgot our own light. But you didn't just defeat us, you reminded us who we used to be. Who we could be again. Tom watched as the tactical display showed more alien fleets across the galaxy receiving the signal, their ships beginning to transform one by one. It's like a chain reaction of Christmas spirit. Exactly. Santa beamed. And do you know what the best part is? He reached into his bag and pulled out what looked like a traditional Christmas card. But when he opened it, stars spilled out, forming a map of the galaxy. We've just added a whole lot of new stops to my Christmas route. The transformed alien ships began arranging themselves in a formation that looked suspiciously like a star, a new constellation of hope in the night sky. And as they watched, that hope began to spread, one world at a time, bringing light back to the darkest corners of space. But even as this victory unfolded, Santa's expression turned thoughtful. Because he knew that this wasn't the end of the story, it was just the beginning of something much bigger. 1 month after the Great Transformation, Tom stood at the viewing window of Space Station 1, watching something that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. The transformed alien ships, now gleaming with festive lights, were helping to decorate the entire solar system. Still hard to believe, isn't it? Bill asked, joining him at the window. They watched as a former battle cruiser, now looking like a flying crystal palace, used its light beam technology to create what looked like a massive Christmas tree made of stars between Earth and Mars. Sometimes, Tom admitted. But then I remember that night, and it all makes sense. He pointed to where the alien flagship, now renamed the Star of Hope, was teaching Earth ships how to use their new belief-powered engines. Santa's sleigh appeared in a flash of colorful light, returning from another successful mission. The big man himself transported directly to the station's command center, his quantum sack noticeably lighter. Another successful delivery? Tom asked with a smile. Oh, you wouldn't believe how many worlds are celebrating now. Santa beamed. The aliens, or the Lightbringers, as they're calling themselves now, have been sharing their own recovered holiday traditions. We're creating something entirely new, a galaxy-wide season of joy. The station's main screen activated, showing scenes from across the stars. On one world, former alien soldiers were teaching human children how to create light sculptures using transformed dark matter. On another, Earth's Christmas carols mixed with alien songs of celebration, creating harmonies that seemed to make reality itself smile. But what about the remaining dark fleets? Bill asked, always the practical one. There are still some out there, aren't they? Santa's eyes twinkled. Of course there are. But that's the wonderful thing about hope, it works best when there's darkness to overcome. Every ship we transform, every world we reach, becomes another light in the night. And you know what they say about Christmas lights? The more the merrier? Tom suggested. Exactly. Santa laughed. And speaking of Mary. He reached into his sack and pulled out 2 small packages. Special gifts for my first allies in the great space battle. Tom and Bill opened their presents to find what looked like ordinary snow globes. But when they held them up, they could see the entire galaxy inside, with tiny points of light showing everywhere the Christmas spirit had spread. To remind you, Santa said softly, that belief isn't just for children. Sometimes, it's what builds whole new worlds. Suddenly, the station's sensors detected something new, a massive energy surge from deep space. But instead of triggering alarm, it brought smiles to everyone's faces. The transformed alien technology was detecting another dark fleet, but this time, they were coming to surrender, asking to be reminded of their own forgotten light. Well, Santa said, straightening his armor and checking his candy cane tablet, looks like duty calls. Care to join me for another round of Christmas miracle delivery? Tom and Bill looked at each other, then at their snow globes, seeing the endless possibilities that lay ahead. The war that had started with an invasion was ending with an invitation, a chance to spread joy across the stars. After all, Santa added with a wink, I'm going to need a lot more helpers now that we're delivering hope to the whole galaxy. Know anyone who might be interested? And as they watched more lights appear in their snow globes, Tom and Bill realized that this wasn't just a victory, it was a beginning. Because sometimes the greatest miracles aren't the ones that save the day, but the ones that change tomorrow. In the vast expanse of space, a new tradition was born. And somewhere, on every world touched by this cosmic Christmas spirit, children looked up at the stars and knew that Santa was real as hope itself.